Hi, welcome back to the last in this series of our Power Apps walkthrough, where we show you how to set up a lunch ordering system using SharePoint lists and Power Apps. So this last one, we're going to talk about how to finish off this order form, how to then submit that information to SharePoint, and a few other tips and tricks just to finish off. So we want to add a couple more fields on here. So let's add in two more here. I'm going to just copy and paste this field here and change that to what we're going to say requested by. And one more. Let's pop it over here because we're running out of room. Double click that and we'll change that to building. And I'm just going to have these as text box, these ones. So as click text, and a text input is what we want. I want to get the same sizes here, so I'm going to quickly do that just to cheat. Let's pop that under there and copy and paste to get another one of the same size for building. So now people can come in, choose what they want, requested by. They could, let's get that to detect who's filled it in, who you are on the form, or you could fill it in free text as well. So to do that, we want to change default on this one, not to text input. We want to change this to this formula here. I'm going to do user, open and close, dot, and we can either do email or full name. We can use image if we want to put a picture of them in the form as well. So there we go, let's do that. And I see it populates with me automatically, and building here will be a text input, but we'll just leave that as blank as the default value. So you can see if I play that, I can choose from the drop down, I can choose requested by, I can overtype that to be someone else if I'm ordering for someone else, and I can put in a building number in. Okay, so let's add a couple of buttons, a submit and a clear button. So to add our buttons, just click button up here and drag it where we want it. And I can do copy and paste, just get another one. Just drag those a little bit bigger. So let's have that as submit, and this one as clear. So what I'm thinking for clear, if people click it, I want it to reset the fields on here. So if we just literally do reset, and we'll do drop down, one, so that will reset that field. We could also reset the text fields as well. So that's text input 1, and a semicolon to do it again, and reset text input 1_1. There we go. See what that does. Cool, clear. Okay, so that's basically cleared the building, which is an interesting to note. This will clear this because the default value is blank, so it sets it back to that. My default value for this is requested by, so it sets it back to that. And this one, to actually set it to a blank value, you'd probably have to add a blank value into the list just to get around that little bit of functionality. So next up, we are going to do how to submit this information And to do that, we're going to use a patch function. So what we want to do is select submit, and then in the onSelect property, enter patch, and we're going to enter a long formula here. And I'm going to pause it here, complete the formula, and then I'll take you through it. So let me take you through this formula that I've filled in here, this patch formula. I format it so it's a bit more readable. So we're patching our lunch orders list. Defaults means we're going to insert a new record into lunch orders. And then we're saying set title from the list equal to drop down dot selected text dot value, and requested equals text input dot text. Order date will just be the current date, and then building will be text input one dot text, and the other field processed we're not passing through at all. So that's it, and you can test that if you actually run it. Change my order to pancakes to building 2 and submit. That will actually run, and if I go back to the list and refresh, you see it's worked. It's easy as that. It's gone into the list for people to pick up and get my pancakes ready. So I think there's one more thing we need to do on this form, which is make it very clear that someone has submitted their order. You can do that sometimes by clearing the forms, but I want to kind of pop up a message to say thanks, your order's been submitted. So I've kind of done part of that already. What I've done is I've added a rectangle, and I've added a label to it and a button, and I've set the visibility of that to this variable var pop-up show. And what I'm going to do is when you click submit, it not only patches the record, but also sets this variable var pop up show. I'm going to set that to be true. And we also want to do, well, you can't see this very well because it's hidden behind, but this button is an OK button. So on select, I want to set the variable var pop-up show to be equal to false, so it hides it again. So let's run this, order something else, building 3. So if I click submit, you get a nice pop-up, so it's very clear that your order's gone through, and we can just double check that. Yep, that's the order in the list. Your order has been submitted. You click OK. It sets the variable that we created to false, so this whole group isn't visible. Effectively, it closes that. And that is it. That's the last little bit on this form that I wanted to do. I'll show you a few more bits next. So now I'm happy with this app. I want to publish it to everyone else. So we go to File. I'm going to Save As, and we're just going to, we'll click Replace. Replace that. You could have just clicked Save. And then once it's saved, you have an option for Publish. So if you're happy, so this is where if you've already published a version, you can just work on it offline. Once you're happy with the few saves, you publish it, and that change then immediately gets sent to the users of the app. So I'll publish it anyway, so my latest version is available. If you're interested in versions, you can see all versions here, which is really handy if you need to revert any changes. See all my different versions. If I want to restore an earlier version, I literally just click restore here, and it will put a new version on top of the list. That will be that older one. That's what we want, so I'll close that. So that's all published. We can go into settings here as well. This is useful. Here you can change the name of your app as well if you want to change it afterwards. You can do a different color, you can do a different icon here, and even upload your own icons, which is kind of cool. If I could only find something with a sandwich on, I'd be laughing. It's kind of icon I want on this one. It's loads in the list, and you can upload your own, like I say. So there we go. Do something along these lines, and put a description for your app for people to read. You can even change the orientation if you want as well. If you can do that before or after. And there's some advanced settings here as well, which you can have a look through. But I don't need to change any of those. So that's saved and published anyway. So I'm going to just close this and leave the page. And go back to this main screen for my apps. And now, if I want to actually push this out to people, I click these little 3 dots here. And we've got an option for share. I can share this to individual users, or preferably groups would be better. I can share it to everybody in my organization if I don't need to limit it at all. You can set people as co-owners, but if I want to set that to everyone, you just give them read access to it so they can use it, and it will then give them access to these lists to read from these lists as well. Click share, and that's it. Everybody's got it. It's as simple as that. And then they go into their into Power Apps, and they could come in here direct. And if they clicked Lunch Choice App, they wouldn't be able to edit it anyway. If you click Lunch Choice App, it will load it up. You can run it in the browser like this. The other option is they can download it to their phone or tablet. They basically download the Power Apps app from the App Store or the Apple Store. That's free, and then they log in and they see what apps are available to them. Finally, the last thing they could do, if you want to make your site stand out, you can edit the page and add the Power App in direct as well. So this is handy. If I click Edit, and if I add a new web part, let's have a look down the list, see what we got. There is a Power Apps one in the list somewhere. We've got Forms. Here we go. We've got Power Apps. Why did Forms appear there? That's weird. Let's get rid of that. Add our app web link or ID. Copy this and paste it in. And that looks like it works to me. You can show a border or not. And there we go. Let's close that. Save as draft. And we publish. And there you go. You can just have a page on your site which just has this app embedded within it, and it works really, really nicely as well, straight from here. There we go. I hope that was useful. That was a real quick run through of Power Apps and just doing a very simple app within it. Obviously, you can go a lot deeper, and we'll probably do some other series in the future on this topic as well. Okay, thanks very much for watching.